Hi, and welcome back to the farm. We sure do appreciate you being here. On today's video, I thought I'd bring you along as we use up some of these beautiful hens' eggs and make some homemade Amish egg noodles. Let's get started. You're going to need to add to your processor or mixer 2 cups of all-purpose flour. To your all-purpose flour, you're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. I am using sea salt, non-iodized or kosher salt works. I tend to stay away from iodized or table salt. You're going to want to use up some of those beautiful eggs. You will need 1 whole egg and 3 yolks. Don't worry, we don't waste those whites or those shells. We crush them up, blend them together, cook them up, and give them back to the birds. They love it. Mix those up, and then go ahead and add them to your dry ingredients. Place the lid on, and my processor here has a dough setting, so I utilize that. However, if you just run it for 1 minute, that usually works. I have the plastic dough hook or dough mixer blade on there. You will also need 3 to 4 ounces of water. It took 3 ounces for this batch. When your eggs and flour and salt are combined, slowly start adding your water. It's just room temperature, cool water. And add enough until you see a little bit of liquid form on the side, at which point you will continue to go ahead and operate the machine or blend it until it forms a dough, at which time you'll cover that with plastic and let it rest for 30 minutes. I, however, have a lot of eggs to use, so we are going to make a few more batches first. Once you've rested your dough for the 30 minutes, altogether, I think the dough here rested probably for about an hour. I go ahead and just form them back into a ball because you'll notice the dough does relax. At this point, I try to cut them into about 4 equal sections, and then I will place them in a Ziploc baggie so that they don't dry out while I form the noodles. So here you'll see I'll go ahead and flour the surface, flour the dough, dust any extra flour off, make sure that my dough attachment is open all the way, and begin to run it through. I run it through twice on the largest setting, which is 8 on this particular one, then twice on 6, and then twice again on 4, and then twice on level 3. Now you can leave your egg noodles level 4. They're a little thicker and chewier. I do level 3, which gives me about the thickness of an egg noodle as a LiQWYD noodle. So that seems to be what works best for our family. Using the attachment, you just want to make sure you always keep your flour on your dough and try not to put a lot on the attachment. It just makes for a messy cleanup situation, and I think the flour after a while can actually dry out the gears. So I always flour the pasta dough itself. Then once it's formed on that 3 a couple times, I lay it out on a tea towel on the table to dry and rinse and repeat. Now cutting, I lay one of the flat noodle, which is basically a little thicker than a lasagna noodle, lay another on top after flouring it really well, and then I just use a really sharp knife and cut the width of the egg noodles that we prefer as a family. Obviously, you can cut them to whatever width that you like. Once you've cut your noodles into the length that you like, go ahead and sprinkle them with a little bit of flour and pile them up and rinse and repeat until you have a big pile of noodles cut up on your board. Once I cut a couple strips and have the noodles all floured and separated, I then take them over and return them to the table where they were drying to continue to dry further. Now, as I said, we had a lot of eggs, so I ended up doing 4 batches, in which case they'll lay here and dry overnight. In the meantime, boiled some up in some beef broth, and then I had a little bit of venison shank that I pressure cooked with some carrots and more beef broth. I'm gonna boil those noodles until they're nice and tender, at which time we're going to add them back into the venison that I had cooking. And lo and behold, a fresh and yummy, delicious meal for the evening. Doesn't it just look delicious? Boy, I wish I had smell-o-vision. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share, like, and subscribe. Ring that bell to be notified. And until next time, have a great day.